This is the silver 1-year overview reading for the year 2023. It's currently October 26, 2022, 7:28 p.m. Eastern Time. The overall theme and behavior is very bearish, guys. We have a decline through multiple support levels, and that's on the scale of a multi-year chart. It is crossed, however, with the rally along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance to meet a secondary resistance and then pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels. Looks like there's a big move to the upside towards the middle part of the year. And it looks like the decline does commence somewhere from the early to mid part of the year, in the midst of that rally higher, mid-year. And that won't outshine the decline that we see. The overall trend direction for the year is a decline through multiple support levels on a multi-year chart, or at least on a year-to-date chart. Before we go any further, guys, and it actually looks like the rally along the diagonal trend line breaking through horizontal resistance. From my first glance, my sense is that it's the earlier part of the year, and then we fall pretty hard and we have lows at the end of the year. Before we go any further, let's take a look at the 2022 reading. It was created on July 17th, 2021, and I have the chart broken down. This thick white line here is the first day of 2022. The dotted lines are all the first day of the month, up until October, where we are now. So we have a high. We have a high here in early January. It looks like we were off by a couple weeks. We have a high here in January. It's like mid-January. Then we have a trough in matter of fact, we have a crest there in late January. So we're not that far off. But there's a high in January. Looks like we have a high in March. There's another high in March. Right. This would be February, March, high in March. Looks like a trough in there in April, followed by another, looks like another crest to roughly the same price level here in April here, right? So what this is, roughly three tops, which was called. We have one top here. You see this? We have one top here. We have one top here. We have one top here. So 1, 2, 3, and the third one takes place in May. We're a little bit off on that. So we had the first two take place in March, and then the second one the third one take place in May rather than in April rather than in May. But still pretty solid as far as sequence of events. Looks like in June we declined a little bit. End of May decline from a brief high that is easily missed. Right, there you go. And then we have a low here in early September. Looks like we were off a little bit as far as weeks. We have the low in late September. It looks like, oh wait, no, that's early September. What am I saying? That's early September, right on the ball. And then from that early September low, we create a new high. That high we have for late September, it looks like we got it just at the beginning of October instead. And so what we should see in October, notable move higher, and then a lucky opportunity, trade opportunity before a decline at the end of the month. It looks like to another low. For the year, probably the same low or slightly higher low. But we have a higher high and then a higher high in December. And from what I can see at first glance on the sneak preview, for 2023, we have bullish, we have sideways rotation along a key support, increasing with bullish momentum as we move forward throughout the year. Guys, this is a solid reading. Again, created on July 17th, 2023. And then I think I marked it up on the 19th, probably. Who knows? But the reading was originally photographed on the 17th. All right, back to the 2023, my friends. The behavior around the high. So we have a U-shaped dip forming between the intersection of two perpendicular diagonal trend lines. Generally speaking, when you see this around the high, it means it's a double top. A lot of cases. Out of the low, the behavior on the lowest low, there's a notable decline, like a market failure to reach the low. Significant amount of price change to the downside to reach the lowest low for the year. Out of the lowest low, there's a significant move from the bottom of a range all the way to the top of a range, and that could be the second top that we see actually. All right, so in January, and the way that it's set up, guys, is each of these clusters of 4 cards represents 1 month out of the year. So this is January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, right? Okay. So in January, we have a critical price level that's highlighted. Volume and volatility kind of flatten out at this price level. There may be some sort of decision or legislation that's an agreement is made, or like the completion of some sort of resolution to legislation possibly, and it looks like that would probably be around a high. There's a price level around the high position, offering an opportunity to position oneself in both directions. So throughout the remainder of the reading, we should see a higher price level and a substantially higher price level and a substantially lower price level, making the price level around the high of January a good mean point to set up something like a straddle or a strangle on a 1 year kind of strategy. We're going to have an unexpected move higher out of the low, a big move higher, unexpected out of the low. Looks like the end of the month of January, we're likely moving into a decline, breaking down through a price level, a support level that was recently broken down through once before, probably in like the last quarter of 2022. Could be this price level right here, actually. The Ace of Wands, we'll have to, or the Ace of Swords, we'll have to see. But on a scale of recently broke down through once before, that's like probably within like a quarter. And then we have a big move out of the low, which looks like is at the month's low, and a prominent trough for the month, for the year, towards the last week of January. Out of that, we have a big move to the upside, an unexpected move higher, big move to the upside. There may be some something to do with domestic unrest in the first week of February. And the rally in the first week of February, it's a good opportunity to position oneself for a downturn. The Ace of Wands, there's a failed attempt to break through key resistance on a 1 year scale, on a 1 year chart, near the high for January, and it's also the high for January should be a prominent high for the year, our first prominent high for the year. We failed to break through that key resistance, and we declined through key support again on at least a 1 month chart, but likely a 1 year chart. There's sideways fluidity around the. Oh, and it looks like that rally really takes place in the first week, probably to maybe the early in the second week of February. It started the trend starts to have, there's a cessation of the trend. There's also a swing trade opportunity there, involving on a 1 month chart a notable move to the upside, reaching for a distant resistance level. Sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bears, inflow and outflow along a support level as we leave the month of February. And around the February low, which looks to be likely hard to say. There's a low in the end of January, early February, and then it looks like a low that could be late February, but it's coming up correlated to early March. But the low, the behavior around the low for the month of February, we have a period of volatility that ends with a fast sudden move higher. Again, there may be something having to do with legislation a male leader discussing legislation of some kind, maybe highlighted or having to do with the low. There's something going on there with legislation. And then in early March, we have a decline from a support level, probably from the support level that we're rotating sideways along as we exit out of February. We decline from that to another support level and rotate sideways along that support at a low for the year. This is a prominent trough for the year, not a low for the year, but a prominent trough for the year. It'll stand out. It'll, it won't be like the lowest low, but it'll stand out as like a trough here in early March. And there's a swing trade opportunity at a moment when we're rotating sideways along a key support level on a 1-month chart at least. Behavior around the month's high for March, multiple headwinds pushing silver lower. There's also a decline off of the high through multiple support levels on a 1-year chart. Behavior around the low. We have a move higher out of the low that'll stand out on a 1-year chart. We create a minor crest for the on the chart on a 1-year chart, a minor crest towards the end of the month of March into April. And there's an important price level that's highlighted, an important resistance level that's highlighted here in late March. We rotate sideways along that price level in early April, and there's a cash out opportunity there. So it looks like an opportunity to trade, open a long position in the end of January and sell the long position somewhere in early February when we have that failed attempt to break through key resistance. Buy a short position in early February, sell that short position somewhere along in March when we fall into a new support level and we're rotating sideways along it. And buy a long position, open a long position around that support level. I just saw something here. This is why I highlight these, because otherwise sometimes I miss them. It helps me to pay attention and not miss anything, anyhow, so there should be a... Okay, yeah, so the low, and it looks like the low, the April low and prominent minor trough for the year, it looks like may take place in the third week, possibly in the second or third week of March, and there's an opportunity there to open up a long position, sell that long position at the April high, which will be either the same year's high that we saw in February, or it'll be a higher high. And we see that towards the end of April, a high for the month of April, and a high, probably the highest high for the year, in the end of April into May. Swing trade opportunity when we're rotating sideways along support at a high, so it'll be like the upper end of support, a new support to the upper end that's created, at least temporarily, in the completion of a bullish trend. The end of April, we have a move higher through resistance, key resistance on at least the one year-to-date chart, and we stay above it briefly, and then we break back down through the same price level shortly thereafter with a full retracement. Behavior around the low, we have rotation. Sideways rotation along the low, we rise to meet the nearest critical resistance on a year-to-date chart, and then we fall back down and continue rotating sideways along that support. It's interesting, April's a little choppy. There's a low in there. There's a prominent trough that'll stand out in there, somewhere like mid-April, and then there's a year's high in there as well towards the end of April or into early May, or maybe into May, not just early May, but and as well as a correlation. There's both a correlation to a rally along a diagonal trend line in early April, and breaking through horizontal resistance, meeting secondary resistance, and pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels. But there's also a correlation there to a decline through multiple support levels on a year-to-date chart scale. In early May or around May, April, May, there's a prominent low that'll stand out, maybe the lowest point we've had for the year thus far, or just a very prominent low in the midst of this this high that we see here, and then this high that we see here, a prominent low that stands out in between them. And it forms when we have a rally along a diagonal trend line that breaks down when we have a fast sudden move higher, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. The low for the month of April, or for the month of May, will be within close time proximity to the highest high for the year for silver. And the high for May will form when we have the halting of a bullish trend marked by a notable decline through a key support level on a year-to-date chart at least. There's a rally that commences off of a period of sideways rotation in towards the later part of May, it would appear. And in that period of sideways rotation, there's a sharp dip. We revisit a support level that was recently a past opportunity, so within like the last 3 months or so. Usually sooner than that, but within the last 3 months would be the recently scale on a 1 year chart. And then the rally into the months or the year's high here in May, June-ish. It looks like there's probably two highs, one around April-ish May and one around May June-ish. There's a rally to reach that one of those highs. It looks like actually a rally to reach both of those highs. It actually looks like it's probably the same high met twice. So okay, so we go from this high to a higher high, it looks like in April, May, and then the same high in May, June-ish. A rally commences in the last week of April as well, and out of the low that we have for the month of May, we have a notable move to the upside, standing out on a 1 month chart at least, reaching for distant resistance. So we go from a trough or a prominent low for the year thus far back to the same high, and that would be like that double top right there that we see for the highest high behavior. And the reason why I think I sense the same price level is because there's a correlation between the Two of Cups and the Three of Cups. They're very close energy. The Three of Cups, it may be slightly higher, just a tad higher, like basically the same high. We move higher through resistance, stay there briefly, and then break back down through the same price level. It may not be a full retracement back down, though, like with the Two of Cups. And then the behavior to reach the month's high and year's high for June, we have a notable move out of oversold territory or to fill a previous recent gap down. Again, within like a scale of the past 3 months, it would be. And there's a breakout there as well to reach that high. Behavior around the low, we have erratic behavior, the month's low for June. We have erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, revisiting a crest in the midst of that erratic behavior that was recently a past opportunity. So within a 3 months time frame, usually earlier than that. And in the case of this, it's probably with the month's low is probably within close proximity to the year's high again, and we would be revisiting that crest that we saw here the first time. Behavior around the end of June, we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance. Again, more information leading me to believe this is the same high or slightly higher high, because technicals will lead us to believe that we're going to break out through this resistance level, this key resistance level on a year-to-date chart. Instead, we fake out and then decline through a key support level on a 1 year chart. In July, we have a prominent low for the year. This may be the same low that we had in between the two peaks, the two highs here, or maybe a lower low. It's probably a lower low. Let me see. I'm going to see if there's a correlation there. Between the Knight of Wands and the Art card. There is a correlation. Nice. My gut told me there was a correlation. So these are likely the same price levels, guys. These lows that we see, the low that we see here in April, likely the same price level. And what we'll see is a full retracement. We'll have a move higher, a prominent move higher that'll stand out on the year-to-date chart in early July, followed by a full retracement of that move higher. It'll stand out, it'll make like a triangular shape on a year-to-date chart. There's a prominent trough or years, the same prominent years low here for the month of July. And there's a notable decline that'll stand out off of the month's high for July. It'll stand out on a on a year-to-date chart, the decline out of the month's high. And it also offer an opportunity to open up a long position. It looks like there's a month's high towards the end of the month, or there's a crest towards the end of the month. And then in early August, we have multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance on a year-to-date chart, followed by a decline through multiple support levels on a year-to-date chart. There is correlation to a rally along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance, meeting secondary resistance, and then pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels, correlating to the month's high here around the month's high of August. Looks like we have a prominent trough or a month's low mid-month in August. There's a swing trade opportunity around the month's low involving a cash out opportunity when we're rotating sideways along key support. Looks like that's probably towards the end of the month because we have this cash out opportunity again here with the Ace of Discs and swing trade opportunities, Prince of Discs. The Ace of Discs rotating sideways, meeting a new key support level. Looks like to the downside, but that's after a failed attempt to break through key resistance, and it looks like it's probably a very close resistance to the resistance that we saw here in around like the months around May. There's also a male ruler highlighted around the high here, the month's high for August, and a swing trade opportunity when we're rotating sideways along key support. Behavior around the month's low for August, Congress will be highlighted. And there's a holding pattern with a notable move higher at the end of the holding pattern, followed by a sharp decline back down, like almost like a full retracement. And there's a prominent low. There's a prominent low here for the year. It'll stand out. It may not be the lowest low, but it's a prominent low. Could be the lowest low, but it's a prominent low for sure for the year. Here in early September, there's likely something to do with climate change kind of issue, or a natural disaster of some kind that really stands out here. There's a swing trade opportunity when rotating sideways along key support. That's the same energy for all these swing trades here in August and September, rotating sideways along support there. The behavior around the month's low for September, we have a critical resistance level that's met, and then a notable amount of volatility that increases after meeting that resistance level. Failed attempt to break through resistance, and then decline with increasing volatility as we leave into the end of the month. I'm advised to open up some protection. I'm advised to open up some protection somewhere around the cusp of August, September, because we're going to have a lower low further on in the year. And there's a notable move higher to reach the month's high in September, even in the face of seemingly overwhelming headwinds. So there's some sort of news that comes out here, or something to do with male ruler or government. This may be where we have some like our first whiffs of like gold getting confiscated. Obviously, people probably already know about it. They're flocking to cryptos instead. That must be what's happening, because we have like this decline, even though the economy and the recession and stagflation, or depression, I should say, and stagflation. All right, so in early October, roughly, we have a lot of price movement covered. I'm advised to open up some protection. Around a peak or crest in the midst of a big move higher in early October, and we reach a peak or crest that's overbought, and then we sell from that, profit taking from that peak or crest that's overbought there in early October. There's sideways bullish price swings around the high for October, and I'm advised to follow my gut instinct in the second week. It looks like the second week of October-ish, and it looks like there's a decline that commences at the upper end of, we meet the upper end of a range on at least a 1 month chart, but probably on a year-to-date chart around the high for October. And out of the low for October, there's a notable move higher, a lot of price movement covered to meet the low. And I'm feeling like we probably decline into the end of October. There's a swing trade opportunity in there. We may be bound at the bottom end of the range, but my sense is that we probably have either the same low that we had here in August, September, or it'll be a lower one. But a big move out of it. It's probably like we're testing. We're forming low. It's probably the same one, actually. Let's see if we can figure that out. Hard to tell, either the same or lower, but we're bound by like a notable range to the upside and the downside, it looks like here in the end of October. And then the trade opportunity in early October, it looks like a notable move, the beginning of a rally out of a prominent matter of fact, it looks like the prominent low may be mid October, not towards the end, but mid October. It's mid to late October, and out of that low we have a rally that commences on a year-to-date scale. It's a big move to the upside. We push for distant resistance on a year-to-date scale. When we meet the month's high here for October, we decline from there with a decline to and through a support level to meet another support level. We rotate sideways along that support, bouncing back and forth for a bit in a range, and then we break down through multiple support levels, and that's on the scale of at least a 1 month chart, probably a year-to-date chart, I should say. The behavior around the month's low here in November, hopefully I'm saying November, not October. November is the halting of a bullish trend marked by a sharp decline marked by a sharp decline off of a peak or crest that'll stand out on a year-to-date chart. And there's a notable move to the upside, a prominent move higher that'll stand out on a year-to-date chart in late November as well. The swing trade opportunity around the month's low for November, and a swing trade opportunity when we meet distant resistance around probably the high for September. It looks like we have a higher high than we have in September. We have higher high than we have in November. We have in December. And there's a crest in December. We sell from a prominent high. It may not be the same price levels as. Matter of fact, it may be the same high. It may be the same high because it also correlates to both the 2 of cups and the 3 of cups. So it may be the same price level. We may revisit it again or come close, but we sell down to and through a support level on a year-to-date chart from that high. And then we do a U-shaped reversal below the support level, come back and reuse it as support. There's a period of volatility in early December and a sharp drop in that period of volatility that'll stand out on a year-to-date chart. The month's low for December will form after a brief peak. It forms there's a sharp drop from the peak, and the peak is easily missed, and a notable opportunity at the end of the year, guys. Notable opportunity at the end of the year to the upside. So it looks like an end of the year peak that's brief, easily missed, and a good opportunity, a really lucky opportunity. The sneak preview for 2024, we have sideways rotation that ends with a notable move to the upside on a year-to-date chart, or possibly even a multi-year chart. It would stand out. A big move towards the end of that period of rotation to end the rotation. Big move to reach for distant resistance on a multi-year chart. That's silver for 2023, my friends. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, my friends. The world needs you. Please, please, please follow that rule of karma. 5% of the profits you make from the information of this reading, please send it forward. Somebody who needs it and doesn't expect it, maybe you can even get it to them without them knowing that it came from you. Just like it appears there. What a miracle for them. Create a miracle and it will spread more miracles. Like attracts like. That which we're thankful for, we have more to be thankful for, which brings me to the 5% profits you should send back to the channel. We put out 903 predictions in the last year, guys. 903 predictions. The average prediction takes about 3 hours, my friends, all free. So do the channel a solid and send some back this way. Much love for that. Most importantly, make sure you spend that money out of love. Do yourself a solid and spend that money out of love. The universe is going to send it back to you tenfold in all directions, my friends. I'll see you on the next one. Will silver's lowest low, will the price level of silver's lowest low in 2023 be a lower price level than silver's lowest low in 2022? Looks like it's going to be the same, but let me double check that question. Looks like the price level around the low of 2022 is going to be a good opportunity. It'll be the lower end of price level for 2023. Is there a higher high in 2023 for silver than there is in 2022? Does silver have a higher high on a chart in 2023, price-wise, higher price in 2023 than it does in 2022? That's a no. I got a no there, my friends. The moon card. Looks like we have some bearish price swings around those highs. Is silver's high in 2023? Is the price level of silver's highest high in 2023 roughly the same price level as silver's highest high in 2022? Yes. And there's notable declines to it. Notable decline, market failure to reach it, looks like.